Welcome back to Conscious Climate Conversations. Asante sana for joining us on this second session. We are at Africana Yacht Cottages, and of course, thanks to the administration of Africana Yacht Cottages for giving us this space. It's beautiful, it's amazing, and if you don't know what Africana Yacht Cottages does, provides hospitality services, so you can come here and have a good place to sleep for the night, or if you are on holiday, do a week or even a month if you want. Very nice accommodation, affordable as well, and of course you can see the surrounding, some very, very beautiful place. Okay, we have a bar, we have a restaurant, we have, if you have meetings for your staff or just family, you want to hang out, there is space for that. Karibuni sana Africana Yacht Cottage, all right? And thank you, David and Isabel, for coming through. Appreciate you. Okay.
Of course, no.
Yes, the first of the first. Okay. So before we went for break, we were talking about whether people at the grassroots, wherever we come from, really understand this concept of climate change. And of course, we have acknowledged that there are some gaps. There are some gaps in terms of really getting the picture that we're trying to paint. And there has been some action in response to the realization that something is wrong. We need to conserve our energy. We need to be conscious of the means of transport that we use, of course, minding the greater picture of climate change. And you have also been very polite in saying that you know, people are realizing that there's change in the climate, the way they used to farm, and all that kind of thing. One of the things that has been very common, especially surrounding this climate change conversation, is planting trees. Yes?
Yes.
I just want to know if planting of trees is the only action that makes sense if we have to deal with this climate change issue, or is there something else that we are not aware of, or maybe we just don't understand? Okay, is it the tree planting that is the medicine to climate change? Let me begin with you, Alala.
Maybe if you want to come first.
No, I have an answer, but I will add.
She will add.
You'll add. Okay. So, yes, of course, due to the activities which local environmentalists have been doing, first of all, I want to really appreciate efforts made by people in the environment space in this great county. There are many small and big organizations that have come up and have tried to create awareness about climate change issues. And there have been so much pushing for what we call tree planting to help mitigate the climate change issues. But there are two ways that we need to deal with the climate change issues. The first one is what we call mitigation. Tree planting is just a small segment of mitigation.
Okay.
But we also have another segment called adaptation, because climate change itself is a pain. It's a pain, and it's here, and it's something that we must recognize, that we must live with.
Okay.
So to live with a condition, it's just like when you have cancer or you're sick. You have a certain condition. You have to know how
You need to
deal with
change
it. Yes.
certain things.
Yes, to adjust to your problem. Yes. So in the mitigation sector, trees can really do well. Trees mitigation is whereby you are trying to stop the spread.
Or slow down.
So you want to slow the pace at which the climate is changing. So trees can do very well. But there's more into which we can do to help do that. Apart from tree planting, we can adopt alternative energy sources, because a big percentage of our rural dwellers in Trans-Nzoia County, there are people who use firewood for cooking.
Yeah.
They also use trees for building houses and for most of their daily needs. There's someone who works with trees. So we need to find alternatives which help them not to cut the trees that they're planting. Because you can plant trees, yes. You can say I'm planting a lot of trees, but at the same time you're cutting even a bigger number of trees. So you can plant more and cut more. You'll be doing nothing. And you know, a tree will take like, you see like trees we have here. They take like, maybe the ones behind you, Bananguti, maybe they took like 20 or 30 years to grow.
Yeah.
To grow a tree like that, it takes you another 30 years. So if you grow trees today, and you cut that tree that is existing there, that tree is worth more than maybe 100 other small trees that you're planting today. Yeah. So I feel like it's important, apart from planting trees, the local governments and the local partners, they look for a way to help maintain these trees by slowing down the rate of cutting the existing trees and finding alternatives to fast-growing species that even if they grow, they'll grow faster, they'll take in more carbon, and help reduce the impact of human activity, the climate, and still the same new trees, they help absorb, they help provide the timber and wood
or material, whatever else
yeah,
that
the need of the materials. Yeah, like now we talk about the bamboo. Bamboo is a very fast-growing tree. Within 3 years, your bamboo will be mature. You can get a couple of branches that you can use to do something. Yeah, and it grows so fast, it consumes or takes in a lot of carbon, produces a lot of oxygen, and at the same time it's more sustainable. So those are some of the things we should be looking at. So let's look at the technology, things like use of solar panels to reduce on to reduce on tree cutting, things like biogas, and so on and so forth. Technology that helps us reduce the cutting of trees and the spread of climate change in that process. But also on the other side, let's talk about adaptation. How people can live with the condition now. Yes. Kama hakuna kuni, or even there's no firewood, people should be able to still cook using an alternative. When there's no water, people should find an alternative whereby water can be found or can be used in a way that it can serve them longer than just using and taking it away. So Bananguti, there's something in the environment world, we called it a secular society.
Secular society.
It's a secular kind of economy in the environment world, whereby you need to get, you normally have a linear society, whereby when material comes from, let's say water comes from a river, okay, it goes into a house. What do you expect to come out? Dirty water. Okay?
Yes,
when
sir.
water comes in, it comes clean. It's used in the house.
Yeah.
It gets out as dirty water.
Yes.
So we need to identify ways we can close the loops so that when water comes to the house, it works into the house, meets the needs of the house, and still goes out when it's clean. Okay? If we do that, then our water or our resources can be sustainable.
Why is water going out of the house when it is clean? I am asking that out of ignorance, so don't stone me.
You saw him thinking.
If it is clean, it should just stay in the house.
Yeah.
But I get you.
Yeah, so we can still use the existing resources.
Okay.
But we make sure that when they come out, they are still as clean or usable as they are when they came in.
Okay.
Yeah, they're still as valuable as they are when they came in. So, yeah, that's how, when we do this, we can still be able to curb what we call climate change and reduce the impact of it, as well as reduce the speed at which the changes are coming.
Okay.
Thank you.
Are you also planting trees in the Netherlands?
No. No.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's funny because you're the environmentalist. I'm an anthropologist. What would you be in this? You're the mediator.
I am the in between.
Yes.
Yes.
So I have a different perspective on this.
Please.
Because of course it would be so nice if the answer was yes to your question, right? You should just plant trees. do some mitigation and adaptation strategies, and then we're done with it. As an anthropologist, I see different things. Because first of all, climate change, or like approaching climate change, or it's an interdisciplinary issue.
Okay.
So it's not just the environmentalists that can solve it. It's not just the anthropologists that can solve it. It's like the economists, the politicians, everyone is influencing this issue and also needs to solve and get together with this issue. That's how we've considered it.
Okay.
So when I would look at it like more from a local perspective, what I've seen here in this short time I've been here, let's emphasize that. Not that we get like comments afterwards, she's seeing it wrong. But as far as I know, so I've seen more cultural and structural embedded issues. Because you work a lot with mitigation, adaptation strategies, but I look more at where did it go wrong? Where is the mentality? What are the incentives to do conservation? But what is also maybe the lack of knowledge, the lack of education, things that people don't see that they pollute, for example. Because one of the first things that I saw when I arrived in Kenya, or like when I arrived in Tanzania, is these small things like people throwing out waste out of their window, just on the streets. If that happens in my country, or like I'm with my friends were like, you go pick that up. Like this different, we have less nature, so if you pollute in nature, it's like it's a taboo, something like this. But what I'm trying to say, like, there is some structural behaviors within cultures that has been going on for centuries, maybe.
Or as long as we...
Yes, that needs to be broken.
Okay.
If you really want to attack like climate change. And I mean, this pollution is one small example. Another example, but I don't want to insult anyone, is, for example, that I asked one person, how do you go to, after we had this conversation about how he's a sustainable farm, trees contribute to this. How often do you go to work with the car? Or how many times do you use the car? It's like every day. I can't do anything without the car. Like, okay, what if you do it with a bike? But that's like really Western because I'm from a bike country. Like, no, that's not possible. That's because it's far distance, which I understand. But you couldn't see my question as like, what if, because it's a tradition, or it's like culturally embedded.
For him, it was a no-no.
Yes, it's like it's normal, which I don't have anything against. But like, these are small things of, if you look at your footprint, or maybe the things that you use, how much plastic we use, how much emissions we cause with the actions we do.
This is what we're calling carbon footprint.
Yes.
Okay.
It should contribute to solving climate change, just not without only like planting trees. And also, what I also have been studying a little bit is the different people that contribute to conservation and restoration. Because I've been talking with women here sometimes. And as far as I've understood, women don't own lands, but if you want to change your farming to more sustainable practice, you need to have a saying about this piece of land. Women are the homemakers. They are literally the core of the households, as far as I've been told. Like they are the
run the house,
children,
manage.
Yes. So like education and the empowerment of women is crucial when you want to approach climate change, especially when it comes to education. And what I've seen here, really interesting, is like that schools have environmental clubs, like the Rieta Girls, the conservation, the topic, and talk about climate change is present, very present. What you do with Filmi Pitale, like those small things, like educating the future generation, that's like core to when you want to attack climate change. To make sure that everyone understands it, everyone understands their actions of like how you impact nature. I think that education is like at the core. Yeah.
I agree with her.
Is there a bus coming?
Yes, no, there's no but. There's no but. Actually, I was doing a book. I was doing a book that I stopped.
What do you mean you're doing a book?
I was writing.
You are writing a book?
Yes.
Okay.
It's called the R's of sustainability.
Okay.
Airs.
Yes.
Okay.
How do you spell it?
The R's.
Okay, you have said it.
Do you mean like the R?
RS.
The R's.
You have
The
spelled it
R's.
that way. Okay.
The R's of
Yeah, because
sustainability.
you see, we always talk about if you want to be sustainable, we normally have like some people say we have 3 R's, some say we have 4 R's, and I give it the 5th R.
Okay.
Like we say like recycle. You want to be sustainable, you do recycling. You use renewable. You also do what else? Recycle,
Reuse.
Renewables. And what else?
You know the other
So
one.
I want to give you the last R. I feel it's the most important R in terms of if we have to make anything sustainable, not only sustainable, even climate change. If we have to change it, is exactly what you say, and that's called the rethinking.
Okay.
It's the R that nobody has thought about, or very few people have thought about. We need to begin rethinking on the way we do things, and we can do everything else, but unless we rethink, we are just wasting time. Because a good number of people know much about climate change. Like especially the elite people who go to school, they know about climate change. But look at the actions. Yeah, it means as much as they know, they have not really thought. They have not really changed their mindset. If we know so much and we still keep our original mindset,
Our habits
then
the
we have
same.
not done much.
Then the knowledge is useless. Okay.
So we have to rethink. Rethinking means we reflect on ourselves
Okay.
and get a new perspective of doing stuff.
Ish. Okay. Great. That is so deep. That is so, and I'm glad we're having these conversations because without the knowledge that you have acquired being put into practice, then it becomes useless. So it has to translate into some kind of actions that reflect the knowledge that you have acquired over time, and that really makes the difference.
Can I ask something? You can cut it out.
Just go ahead.
Because
We will not cut it out.
No. Because if you go down that rabbit hole of rethinking, I think you can also lose your mind. Let me give an example. Because like in my studies, people get really, or not even my study, but people who study, for example, like forestry. And my friend the other day is like, yeah, sometimes I just need to calculate how much forest disappears in the Amazon. And it's like real data. And it's just a number, you know? Like, there is this huge debate about if we should reflect data through numbers, because it's now being so unimaginable big that people don't actually relate to it anymore. When giving an example for like forest disappearing, for example. Yeah. That's like
Wow.
like
Okay. Yeah, you're hitting for the bad. Okay. All right. We need to wind up this conversation. It is an introductory episode to climate conscious conversations, and we're just starting. So we'll bring you more episodes on very specific subjects of climate change, and progressively we'll hopefully help somebody somewhere jump on the bandwagon of climate action, and that would be great. But before we do that, I wanted to ask something here. I'm still thinking about the things that you guys have said, especially from this side. I'm like, okay, because me holding this phone in my hand is already a problem. You know what I'm saying?
yeah. Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like, the more phones you have, I mean, you're not helping. Hey,
I'm scared you.
It's necessary, I think, and everybody needs to have this kind of information so that then they can consciously make decisions based on the information they have.
Which is also a big problem is information. Like, to give a small example, what happened a lot in America when Donald Trump started that climate change is a hoax.
Yeah.
Algorithms in your phone or in your Google search can make you stuck within the misconception of information. Like, I've learned a lot about also conspiracy theories, and raising awareness about climate change is a huge issue when you try it through social media or the internet, because once your phone gets stuck in like it's fake, the Chinese made it up or something like that.
That
it's
is the
very
circle
difficult,
that
to get out of it. So misconception of information, and that's why I said like education is at the core, is a huge issue, especially when we are living in a time, and especially the Generation Z right now, that social media is like your main source of information.
Yeah.
So
Crazy.
That's like
It's crazy.
Yeah.
I
give you more to think about.
Anyway, let's wrap up this conversation. First of all, thank you so much, lady and gentlemen, for coming. Very important. What will be the message that you want our audience to remember as we wind up? What would you want them to remember? Something very pertinent, some message that you want to give as we conclude for now. Yeah.
Okay, so before we conclude, I just want to make one more very important comment.
Okay.
Today is an international day for rivers.
Eh?
Today.
International Day for Rivers.
International Day for Action for Rivers. And I want to especially commemorate this day as we have this talk on climate change by touching on the rivers, our local rivers here in Kenya. Especially here in Trans Nzoia County. You know, Trans Nzoia we have a source of the second longest river in Kenya, which is Nzoia River.
Nzoia River.
Yeah. And it's a source of livelihood for many families.
Yes.
It used to have hippos at some point in some places. We no longer have them. It used to have trees along the whole river. Today, only patches of the river are dressed up.
Okay.
Yes, with the trees. So let's honor our rivers. Let's honor this important day, and we should not.
Yeah. That's right.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, you're hitting for the birds. Okay. All right. We need to wind up this conversation. It is an introductory episode to climate conscious conversations, and we're just starting. So we'll bring you more episodes on very specific subjects of climate change, and progressively we'll hopefully help somebody somewhere jump on the bandwagon of climate action, and that would be great. But before we do that, I wanted to ask something here. I'm still thinking about the things that you guys have said, especially from this side. I'm like, okay, because me holding this phone in my hand is already a problem. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like, the more phones you have, I mean, you're not helping.
I'm scared you.
It's necessary, I think, and everybody needs to have this kind of information so that then they can consciously make decisions based on the information they have.
Which is also a big problem is information. Like, to give a small example, what happened a lot in America when Donald Trump started that climate change is a hoax.
Yeah.
Algorithms in your phone or in your Google search can make you stuck within the misconception of information. Like, I've learned a lot about also conspiracy theories, and raising awareness about climate change is a huge issue when you you try it through social media or the internet, because once your phone gets stuck in like it's fake, the Chinese made it up or something like that.
That
it's
is the
very
circle
difficult,
that you...
to get out of it. So misconception of information, and that's why I said like education is at the core, is a huge issue, especially when we are living in a time, and especially the Generation Z right now, that social media is like your main source of information.
Yeah.
So
Crazy.
That's like
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I give you more to think about.
Anyway, let's wrap up this conversation. First of all, thank you so much, lady and gentlemen, for coming.
Yeah.
Very important. What will be the message that you want our audience to remember as we wind up? What would you want them to remember? Something very pertinent, some message that you want to give as we conclude for now. Yeah.
Okay, so before we conclude, I just want to make one more very important comment.
Okay.
Today is an International Day for Rivers.
Eh?
Today.
International Day for Rivers.
International Day for Action for Rivers. And I want to especially commemorate this day as we have this talk on climate change by touching on the rivers, our local rivers here in Kenya, especially here in Trans Nzoia County. You know, Trans Nzoia we have a source of the second longest river in Kenya, which is Nzoia River.
Nzoia River.
Yeah, and it's a source of livelihood for many families.
Yes.
It used to have hippos at some point in some places. We no longer have them. It used to have trees along the whole river. Today, only patches of the river are dressed up.
Okay.
Yes, with the trees. So let's honor our rivers. Let's honor this important day. And we should know the climate change is real, and our rivers are diminishing at a very fast rate. If we don't take a step, then we are done. Okay. So we either wake up today, we know the climate change issues are real, they affect each and every one of us, whether you live in city, the village, wherever you are. This thing is really eating us up. Okay. So we rather stand up and fight.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you very much.
All right. Okay. Yes.
What's what's my
What
final...
what would you want people to remember, our audience to remember, especially for this first session?
I would say tree planting is not enough. You need to look more closely to your social life, your cultural, it's interdisciplinary. Climate change is interdisciplinary. It's not just the environmentalists that need to solve it. If you're a politician, economist, any type of job, like it's a global issue. So we have to globally solve it and approach it, and therefore, unfortunately, tree planting is not enough.
Okay.
It's all embedded in the community and structures.
Okay.
And please look at it, what you think might can change, or how you can contribute.
Okay.
That's what I would say.
All right. Great. Thank you. Why are you looking at each other like there's something you need to say and you haven't said it?
It's fine, it's okay.
It's okay?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Great. Asanteni sana. Thank you, Isabel, for making it to the show.
Karibu.
Yeah.
Karibu. Now we can continue in Swahili. The next episode, we will do in Swahili.
Thank you so much, Walala.
Yes.
For coming through. And I need to say that this particular series of climate conscious conversations is brought to you through a partnership of the Fireplace Studios and Community Alliance for Change, an organization that Mr. Walala runs, and is going to be very common in these conversations, of course, with other stakeholders and other professionals to just help us understand what climate change is all about. In our subsequent episodes, we'll touch on very specific subjects, maybe issues of technology and climate change, maybe issues of food security and climate change, and so forth and so forth. And I want to encourage you to stay with us and be part of this conversation. Please If you have a comment on whatever conversations we've had today, drop your comment under this video, ask a question, we can be able to respond to your question. We can be able to refer to you to someone who can probably meet your need. Alafu itakuwa ni vizuri sana. So thank you so much for today. Appreciate you, and continue subscribing and sharing this content to other people, and let's have this conversation going even beyond this particular time. Okay, bye bye for now. I'll see you next time.